This is your secret to passing your driving test in Stafford. It's knowing these roundabouts. Let's go. Welcome. If you don't know me, I am Josh, the driving instructor. Used to be teacher, now driving instructor, so still helping people. Over the years, I discovered the biggest secret to getting people to pass their driving test is to master these roundabouts that I'm going to show you now. So this is Stafford, and these are the 7 roundabouts. Now, some of the roundabouts don't have names, so we've named them after markings that are very nearby. These are the only major roundabouts that you are going to face on your Stafford driving test. So first I'm going to tell you a little bit about each roundabout, then I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. This is called Jail Square Roundabouts. Now, generally on this roundabout, you're going to be asked to go one of 2 ways as you start your test. You're either going to be asked to follow the A34 second exit, or you're going to be asked to take the 3rd exit towards Telford. Again, this should be a very simple roundabout. All you have to do is be aware of the traffic lights and be aware of the road markings. If you stay in your lane, don't cross the white lines, and make sure you stop for the red lights, you shouldn't have a problem. This is how you do it towards A34. Okay, so we're approaching the roundabout. We're in the lane, the left lane for A34. All we've got to do now is follow in the left lane, round the outside of the roundabout, still staying in our lane. This is the key part. Look for the bins and make sure you hug the bins. We're by the curb, so golden rule, stay by the curb. I'm not signaling because there's nowhere else I can go. There's no point worrying about a signal. No one's going to get confused. It wouldn't help anyone. If you do want to signal, also fine, no problem. Now, the 3rd exit right towards Telford is a little bit more tricky if you're not used to this style of roundabout. As you'll see in a second, we're going to hug the roundabout and then our lane's going to split into 3. There's far more detail about this in my driving test routes guide. But here's a quick example of what I'm talking about. Next, we're going to be taking the 3rd exit right on the roundabout, following signs for Telford. Now, this is really important because if you miss the signs and you try and treat it like a normal roundabout, just looking for the 3rd exit, you're going to end up in the wrong lane. So we're going to use the right lane, and the right lane is the only lane that can turn right. All the other lanes can only go straight on. So by knowing this, this means when our lane splits, our one lane for turning right splits into 3 different lanes, we are safe to go into any of those lanes without any panic that a car's going to be next to us, because there won't be. So if we're looking at the green sign, look at the second green sign, we're following the sign for Station Town Centre. And then on the road here it says Telford, and that's all the same exit, it's 3rd exit right. Now I am going to signal just because it's good habit. And all I've got to do is hug the roundabout, stay in the lane for the A518, looking for signs for Telford. That's the secret. Now as we go round, see if you can spot the sign for Telford. Traffic lights. There you go. And the sign for Telford there, it's in the left of the 3 lanes. Now if I hug this white line, that's absolutely fine. All the way to the curb. And there we go. We're in the lane, following our lane for Telford. That's the part that people get really confused at. When the lane splits, they feel like they've got to stay hugging the roundabout. But if you do that, you've got to go around the roundabout forever. There's no way to exit without following it round to the outside. And remember, you're not crossing any white lines, so it's perfectly safe what we've done. Now we're by the curb. Golden rule for you, when you're by the curb, you're always going to stay by the curb. You can't curve back into the roundabout. So now we just stay to the outside, hugging the outside, and that's it. Now, if you're coming back from your driving test, from the centre of Stafford, the examiner's either going to ask you to go take the 1st exit towards Telford, where you'll need to be in the left lane, or follow the road ahead for A34. Again, all you have to do is choose your lane and stay in it. Follow the road markings. You're going to notice a trend throughout this video. It's going to be follow the road markings. And we're back to Jail Square Roundabout. Now you're either going to be asked to follow the road ahead for Stone A34, or you're going to be asked to take the left lane for Telford. If you go left lane Telford, central left mirror, signal, follow it into the left lane because you're crossing white lines. That's why you would signal and whatnot there, because you're physically changing lanes, other people could be there. We're following A34, where you can use either of these lanes. I'd always try and pick the left lane because the right lane is for overtaking and turning right. Again, we're brought out by the curb, following the road markings, following the lines, so we just stay by the curb. Why have I signaled there? I don't know, I just got a bit excited, didn't I? So this is known as either Blackfriars Roundabout or McDonald's Roundabout. It's probably the first roundabout you may come across on your driving test. Now there are 2 main directions that you need to know. The problem you've got with lots of Stafford roundabouts like this one is it has lots of road markings, and you have to be highly aware of road markings in Stafford. Because for instance, on this roundabout, You have to be in a specific lane to go left and a specific lane to follow the road ahead. Okay, this roundabout is what I call McDonald's roundabout. Now, you could be asked to go either left on the roundabout, follow the road ahead, or go all the way back round. What's really important, there's road markings. If you want to go left, you have to stay in the left lane. So I'm just going to show you that. So we're in the left lane now, mirror signal, give way to your right, and carry on. Now, if the examiner or the sat-nav wants you to follow the road ahead at the roundabout, second exit, you're going to need the right lane, look at the road markings. Now, the really important part of this is if you can't get into the right lane for the job, for where the sat-nav says to go, just follow what the lane says. You won't get marked down at all if you go the wrong way. You'll fail your test, however, if you're in the wrong lane for going the wrong direction. So we're following the road ahead this time. We don't need to signal, we check our mirrors, we signal, and we just exit off on the left, hugging the left curb, making sure it's nice and clear. That's it. That's all you need to know for that one. It's also very strange coming back past McDonald's and the Shell because you can actually use either lane to turn right. This is fantastic, except it means you have to stay in your lane. And because people don't notice the road markings, they often don't, and that's bad. People get really confused with this roundabout because it looks like a normal roundabout, but it's not. The road markings in both lanes on the approach to the roundabout say straight on, follow the road ahead, but there is no straight on. So in this sort of situation, this means you can use either lane to take the next exit on the roundabout, which in this situation, if you look at the shape, is more to the right. The only important part of this is whichever lane you get into, make sure you stay in that lane. Don't enter the roundabout in the right lane and then exit the roundabout in the left lane, or at least don't do it without having a really good look around first. Okay, here's an example. So you can use either lane to turn right. In this scenario, I'm going to use the right lane. So I'm going to go to the roundabout, I'm going to choose to signal, even though the lanes are straight on, just to make it really clear to everyone where I'm going, and I'm taking the second exit. There's the first exit. Follow it round. Now this is the really important part. We exit in the right lane because that's where I've entered in. Because someone else could also enter in the left lane and exit in the left lane as well. So we don't want to do that. This is possibly the worst mini roundabout I know of ever because it's a completely blind junction. It's extremely closed, meaning you can't see a thing from the right. It's so closed, in fact, that you have to look at reflections in the window to see if anything's coming. And if you're coming the other way, you're going to be completely blinded by exits, not know which way to signal. Best thing to do is follow this. Okay, here is Browning Street roundabout. Now this is an awful roundabout because as you're about to see, you cannot see to the right at all. So you've got to treat it like a closed junction, meaning first gear. So as we approach the roundabout, we slow the car down and we're going to look in the barbers in these shop windows to see if we can see a reflection of any cars because you can't see anything. There we go. There's no cars in the reflection, so I'm going to take that as clear. Again, Browning Street roundabout. The problem with it is there's 4 or 5 different exits on it. So trying to say going left, right, or straight on, it's confusing. So basically you're going to be going one of the 2 forks. The examiner's normally going to ask you to go up to the right fork. So I would signal right for that. Remember to give way to your right, not your left, because it's very confusing when you get here. You'll see what I mean if you have a go. Don't worry if 2 wheels touch the roundabout. It's okay, as long as you made a bit of effort to go round it. That's the important part. Obviously, try not drive straight over the top. That wouldn't be good. Try and make a bit of effort, but that'd be fine. Now, this roundabout follows on from Jail Square roundabout. Now, I've given you a bit of a cheeky bonus here with speed limits and bus lanes, just because this is an awful part of a test route. Okay, now we're doing the horrible little roundabout by Sainsbury's. We'll call it Station Roundabout. First of all, we're on a 20-mile-per-hour road. Really need to be aware of that, but more importantly, there's a bus lane there, so you can't drive in the bus lane. However, straight after the bus lane, we're going to be asked to follow the road ahead, second exit, which means we're going to need the left lane. So straight after the bus lane, you check your mirrors, check your blind spot, signal, and move across into the left lane without having any hiccups. Easy to do once you've done it a couple of times, not easy to do if you're not from Stafford and you've never driven around. Now this roundabout connects to Asda roundabout. I don't know if you've seen Asda on the left here, but this is a terrible junction because it's right next to the traffic lights, so you would assume it's past the lights, but it's not. Asda roundabout, this is the only way you really need to worry about. The other ones just straight on, so that's pretty easy. But this one looks like it's traffic light control, but it's not. It's the only one I've ever seen. You've got trees hiding the signs, so you've got to rely on the road markings. There's a give way sign here. Which means you need to have a little look to your right to make sure it's safe before pulling out, otherwise you're gonna have a really bad day. Now, if the lights are green for the cars next to you, then the cars on the roundabout will have stopped. So it's not such a big issue. But if the lights on the roundabout are red for the cars next to you, then you need to be aware that the cars coming around the roundabout are going to be going. So don't pull out on them. Okay, next roundabout we have is Asda roundabout. Gonna call it that because Asda is right next to it, as you will see, and there is no name for this roundabout. Now, this roundabout is so big it might as well just be a giant round road. Now, you're going to need to take the second exit on the roundabout, and then your lane's going to split into 3 different lanes. The secret here is to get into your lane really early while you're the first car. If you leave it too late and someone gets in there, then you're going to start struggling to get in. Now, I think this is probably the hardest junction exiting a roundabout in Stafford. That's just because you don't see this anywhere else. I've never seen this anywhere else in the country. But the simple rules apply. We're going to take the third exit. After the first 2 exits, we need to be on the outside of the roundabout. Here's what I mean. If you want more detail, you want it slow motion, paused, step-by-step, diagrams, have a look at the test route package. So we're approaching Asda roundabout. Ideally, we'd probably be in the left lane at this point, assuming left lane because we don't know where we're going. The examiner would then say, we're going to need the right lane for this one, follow it in the middle lane to take the second exit. So we'd safely move across, and then we approach the roundabout, and they'd be asking you to follow signs for Cannock. Now, to follow signs for Cannock, we're choosing the middle lane. Again, it's another spiral roundabout, traffic light controlled, so you just have to look at road markings. Stafford is mostly about road markings. And I'll show you this exactly how I'm doing it now in the test route with a bit more detail because I've got a lot more time there, and really break it down, freeze frame for you throughout the whole test route, throughout the whole thing. And we're just following it round for second exit, following signs for Cannock. Now you're going to see lots of lanes in a sec. The Cannock is the very left lane, so we're going to check our mirrors and move straight across into the left lane, absolutely fine with the front car. So we can do that. There's no other lane for cars too. This is possibly the hardest section of all the roundabouts in Stafford, just because it's confusing as hell if you don't know what you're looking for. And that's pretty much Stafford in a nutshell. It's quite easy, Stafford, if you know what you're doing. If you've seen it and you've practiced it, it's not a problem. If you've never seen that style of roundabout before, you're gonna be like a headless chicken. So we're taking the third exit towards Stone. So right lane, following this sign. See on the sign there, third exit Stone. So the first thing is hug to the right. Keep an eye on your mirrors at all times, moving across lanes. Signal's not important. It's so big, it's just a giant circular road. And me moving across, hugging the curb the whole time, makes it irrelevant by signalling or not. Now the first exit is on the left there, going towards Cannock where we were last time. The second exit is following the road ahead towards town centre, which means the third exit is the next exit after these traffic lights, which means where do I want to be when I get to these lights? I want to choose the left lane. And now I'm by the curb, where do I stay? You guessed it, by the curb. That's it. Do I need to signal exit in the roundabout? Well, look, can I go anywhere else apart from left? No. So a signal is completely pointless. If you want to signal, no harm, no foul. Do you need to signal? No. M6 roundabout, junction 14. Quite a big roundabout. On this junction, there are going to be no traffic lights, so you have to decide when to go. There are traffic lights on the roundabout, however, which is going to make it a lot easier for you because you're guaranteed a gap at some point. So don't rush if it's particularly busy. Bit of a strange roundabout because this isn't a spiral roundabout, which means halfway round, you're going to end up having to change lanes because it's so big. So after the second exit, we're going to be moving into the left lane in order to exit in the third exit towards Eccleshall Road. Okay, so we're going to imagine we're on a driving test now. We're approaching the M6 junction 14 roundabout. This isn't a spiral roundabout, this is just a big stupid roundabout, really big. So you have to change lanes halfway around the roundabout, and you sometimes get this when it's not a spiral roundabout and it's just really, really big. You'll see what I mean. Now you're going to get to this point, the examiner could potentially say, I want you to take the third exit right towards Eccleshall. Or they could just say, follow the signs for Eccleshall. Well, the big reason people fail is they stay in the left lane. It's third exit right, and if you look at the sign, Eccleshall is showing well past 12 o'clock, well past straight on, so you need the right lane. So I am approaching the roundabout. I'm in the right lane, I've left my signal on because I'm turning right. I'm looking if it's clear. There's no traffic lights either at this section of the roundabout. There is other sections, which helps control the traffic. It's clear enough for me. I continue hugging the roundabout. After this first exit, there's a second exit. Where do I need to be? I need to move across into the left lane. Make sure you have a good look to see if it's clear first, because if other sausages decide to use the left lane to take the third exit, then you're going to have a problem. If you can't get into that left lane comfortably, just go round the roundabout again. I'm exiting here. I'm going to leave the signal on to let this guy in the blue lorry know that I am exiting, because you can carry on to the M6 there, and then he knows he can comfortably pull out. And finally, coming back from Eccleshall Road towards Stafford, we're going to take the third exit. As you'll see, pretty textbook this one, but let's have a look. Okay, we're going to take the third exit right. This is the only way they'd ask you on the way back from following for Eccleshall Road. Third exit right, approach the roundabout, which means which lane are you going to need? You're going to need the right lane again. They should say this. Wait till it's clear. Good, that's clear enough for me. And we're in the right lane. We've passed the first exit onto the M6. This is not an exit, this is only an entrance, so we don't count that. A34 is second exit, and as we go round, we can see the third, so central mirror, left mirror signal, hugging the left side. And we are done. Beautiful, been a pleasure. Those are the 7 deadly sin roundabouts of Stafford. If you know these roundabouts inside and out, you will be absolutely fine with the roundabouts on your driving test. If you want to know about all the crossroads and all the one-way streets, or you want more detail on the roundabouts, have a look at my test routes package. It gives you everything you need to know, broken down nice and slowly. If you have any questions about these roundabouts, please get them in the comments. I'm more than happy to help with anything I can. The goal is to help people on these roundabouts and make sure they're doing them properly, because if they're doing them properly, they're less likely to crash into me when I'm teaching someone.